were a born male. That is basically what you even said yourself. Contradicting yourself. You know, I actually feel kind of bad for this one. I would love if we could set up some sort of GoFundMe for her wig. I just feel like that wig is not doing it for me.
Oh, burn.
That wig has seen better days. Hit me up, girl. I'll help you.
A trans woman.
That right there.
She's not tricking anyone.
That right there, that sick burn about the chick's wig, it just proves straight up and down that this Blaire White person was born a man and is definitely a woman now. Like, that for sure just solidifies and cements that when you sick burn a random person on their bad wig or whatever, like, that is such a woman thing to do, and I love it. It's hilarious.
I don't think that was the right video, though. This is... It's
there's some interesting stuff in there. I mean, these people are contradicting themselves when they say that biology doesn't exist, because then why would you even bother using the word trans in any of your... Because if there's no transition or transformation and science is just fake, then what's the point of even using any of those terms, you know?
Exactly. And
you're contradicting yourself.
They don't apply. See, you're attacking our language, and what I think is happening here, honestly, I think that whatever darker forces are at work that want to divide us, that want to keep us divided and confuse us,
it's working.
They're taking advantage of this activism spirit. And why does that activism spirit exist? Who are the activists? This is my theory. This is my theory about it. Who are the people who are born with this activist spirit?
What do you mean? People that have a great amount of caring and concern.
There are people.
Fucking courage.
They're operatives. They're people who were born here for the sake of ending this division. People who came here
with courage and with fucking the people that are able to put themselves out there and speak up for other people and speak up for themselves. That's a great fucking thing to do, and I love that people take up the activism type spirit. But it gets
being
muddied.
Misdirected
right, it
here.
gets muddied when you point it at... You point it, laser focus that activism spirit at one culture. And then just, that's it. That's the only thing that matters. And it's muddying the waters. Just like she said, Blaire White, just a second ago. That's exactly what my point was. That
Blaire White?
No, I said White. You're giving ammo to the opposition of people who would stomp this movement down into the dirt if they had the chance.
Yes,
and it's working.
The thing is that, you know, it was our generation, it was our people that fought alongside the trans community, one with them as human beings, to educate society and to fight for the acceptance of trans people, and we won. We got your acceptance, we got your freedom,
Absolutely.
And then what you're going to do is turn around and wreck it. You're going to throw a wrecking ball at everything we fought to build with these now you need other genders. It wasn't good enough for you to be accepted as trans because you have this victimization complex. It's not good enough for you to be accepted. You don't want to be accepted. You want to be rejected.
New things can pop up. I don't think it's fair to say, well, it's not enough for you. Like, that seems kind of like a... You know, an argument that any dummy would use to squash anything that they didn't like. You know, that seems like an easy out kind of argument. It does not enough for you. I don't think that's the point. I don't think that's the thing. Is that it doesn't matter. I don't know. It is enough. It is enough, maybe, but then other things kind of come to the surface, which is natural, I think. That's always going to continue to happen.
Okay, here's the right one. This is The Truth About Contrapoints and Non-binary. Let me find this. You can keep on going. I gotta find this part.
I have not had a chance to really dive into Contrapoints, although I think that it's a really cool channel, and I think I heard of it from Vice News.
And I think
did
that
a spot on it, which it was really interesting.
It sounds to me like they're saying that Contrapoints got shut down because of this.
Oh, from what I understand, Contrapoints is huge. I don't think it got shut down.
This is it. This is what spawned this.
Oh my god, I've seen this.
You're a non-binary trans femme.
Okay, this is what spurned this. This is what this video is actually about.
name's Jamie. I use they, them pronouns. Identify as a queer, non-binary, trans femme. I also identify in the A spectrum of asexuality. I believe non-binary is under the trans umbrella.
I completely reject how non-binary people specifically have injected themselves into the trans label. I am a transsexual. There's a medical basis for that. There's a scientific basis for that. And for non-binary, it's really not the case.
You don't know my life. You don't know my experience with the
you don't know
gender
we don't know
dysphoria.
each other's life. I'm not
So
saying
what
that.
is
You're the one that said that I was
trans
erasing
and femme if there's no
U.S. trans. I am. Like, you're not trans. Like, there's a medical definition of being a transsexual.
I'm going to stop you. Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Do you feel like talking? You don't have to. Okay.
Now let's just keep it real. The moderator of this debate essentially told a trans woman, me, to shut the hell up, to check on the emotional well-being of the non-binary person
That was the
because I had a voice that was different than theirs. Now, I am not trying to bash non-binary people. I'm not trying to say that I'm better than them, above them, higher than them. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. We are all equals here. What I am saying is that we are different. Okay? It seems to me that the goal of non-binary people is to completely destroy and deconstruct the binary. And the goal of trans people is to operate within the binary, as in moving from one to the other, transitioning. And honestly, people get so mad when I try to draw a distinction between myself and non-binary people. But what really gets me about that is that there are so many different letters in the LGBT acronym at this point. I think we all know it's basically the entire alphabet plus some numbers. So there's all these micro distinctions. This is this type of person. This is this type of person. This is this type of person. But yet, for me saying, okay, I'm different than that is a problem. A good example is pansexual and bisexual. I know they're different things. I understand the nuance. But if you really think about it, they're not wildly different.
No,
Yes, they're
you're still
different, but
open
they're
to
not
fucking
that
whatever.
different. Why do they get to have this distinction between this is a bisexual, this is a pansexual, but a trans person can't say, oh, I can't relate to non-binary people
See,
who are...
basically, and I might actually have
It's just a bunch of
somewhat.
muddy water.
I suppose I have an argument here with Blaire, which Blaire, if you don't agree with me, I challenge you to a debate on the matter. Formally.
Oh, that would be
Digital glove,
fantastic.
slapped in the face,
That would
Blaire
be
White.
awesome.
But this is perfectly accurate insofar as regards, the reality of the situation wherein you're going to be, she said, you injected yourself into the trans community under the trans umbrella, that you believe non-binary falls under the trans umbrella. No, that's something offensive for you to do. In reality, that's truly offensive.
What do you mean?
Because we've worked hard to get acceptance for trans people, especially the trans people themselves, but we fought alongside them in this
So
battle.
why not work hard to get acceptance for other types
But
of people?
because
Is your
what
argument?
they're doing is fighting, inserting themselves into this trans umbrella. Effectively, they're forcing society to identify all trans people as being like these people who are damaging the system
Well,
and giving them a bad name.
First of all, the words that are popping up here are contradictory. How can you transition at all if there is no gender?
Exactly. There
That's
is no
contradictory.
basis whatsoever, even in the rhetoric, in the terminology, for
Just
you
the
to
words
suggest that
themselves.
you are trans or
The
that you have
words
anything to do with the trans
contradict each other.
community. And then you're going to raise a stink about it and present to me the argument that, are you even trans? Well, no, see, are
Neither
you
are
trans?
Yeah, right.
Because it seems to me like you don't know what you are, yet you're dismissing and rejecting me and my opinions that are perfectly valid in the scenario and honestly friendly. I'm trying to be friendly. I'm still trying to be friendly. I may come across as a dickhead, but I'm still trying to be helpful to you.
Very excited.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry, but this is an issue that gets to me. This is an important fucking issue to
Well,
me,
I
and it
think
matters,
what it
and it's
boils down
important to
to-
everyone.
What it boils down to is words matter.
Yes,
That there's
words
a reason
matter.
why we decided as a human race to be able to describe and relate to each other using a vocal language, that there's a purpose for that.
Mhm.
The purpose is that you can better understand your counterparts on this world,
Yes.
and to make purposefully, to make that language and those understandings purposefully useless and meaningless is a disservice to the way that we communicate and relate to each other.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I mean, you don't see that you're actually causing damage. You feel like you're fighting for something that's justified, as Anti-Ordinary would say. Well, you have to justify yourself for this. You're not. I don't see how you're observing yourselves, or like, examine your situation, and please tell me in the comments, in what way are you justified in demanding that people identify with you in the manner that you would like for them to, when it's in effect damaging to them and to everyone else around. Like, you're attempting to destroy our language. It's a semantics issue.
Absolutely,
but
it's semantics, yeah.
It's purposeless.
It doesn't have anything to do with who,
right,
what
it does,
you feel, who you fuck, what you wear. Those are all just things that you do by yourself, under the umbrella of you being a sovereign individual that can do what they want. It's actually no one else's business to begin with.
And kind of in a manner of speaking, you're fighting against love, essentially, because you're saying here, well, like, listen to what that person said, how she presented herself, he or she or whatever, I don't know. But
They, them.
I identify as a non-binary, trans femme, asexual. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's a lot of stuff to unpack, and some of those terms are contradictory.
Bisexual and pansexual. What exactly is the difference? One bisexual is attracted to either or, can be attracted to either or. Pansexual can be attracted to anyone. I'm sorry. How does that make a fucking difference?
It makes sense. No, I think the distinction here that a pansexual person would bring up is that they don't limit. There is not a limit to saying I am attracted to men and women. There's a third category in there where they would be open to being, intimate with somebody that is also trans. So there's that third thing, which takes it from bi, which means two, to a third. You know what I mean?
All right,
to a triple kind of.
Okay.
I think that's what.
Then
it is.
pansexual could make perfect sense,
It
although
does.
bisexual covers
from what
it.
I understand, I mean, yeah.
Bisexual covers it.
But
because
again,
what you're doing there, that seems kind of offensive in and of itself. Because if you're saying you're pansexual, suggesting that you can be attracted to a third sex, and basically what you're doing is erasing their identity by suggesting that they are not what they've decided to be. A trans person that's become female is not female in your eyes.
because they're only trans.
They're trans.
Yes, right. Yes, it's all very semantic and
So
contradictory.
where are you going with
Right,
that?
it's a weird thing. I mean, if you really sit down and think about it, the words themselves only serve to make everyone more uncomfortable and step on eggshells and get pissed off and be offended.
Hurt people.
And hurt yourself.
Divide people.
And divide people, absolutely.
Damage humanity.
And so, again,
You're fighting against our cause. You are in our terror. You think that because I'm not trans that I have no business in this argument that you've raised, this imaginary argument.
No, I think it's a human thing.
You need to.
It's a human thing. We need to.
Your eyes are a little fixed here on
things.
the distraction. You, in effect, are in our territory. This is our battle.
Hey, now who's dividing?
Me.
Yes. So stop it.
If you are going to, if you're
it.
going to behave this way, if you're going to identify this way, then what you're doing is you're dividing yourself from humanity and you're fighting against it.
Again.
That's your decision. You can do that. But I don't advise it.
It is possible that there is a type of learning experience happening.
Yeah,
on a
certainly.
greater level and on an individual level. You don't know if somebody is going through something where they like to use labels and they need to assure themselves and whatever. Maybe it's a learning experience and they're going to come out the other end completely in line with being peaceful and whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know, and so don't divide it by saying you, our territory, your territory. Like, it's a human fucking thing, and it has to do.
Well, see, that's just the thing, is that they are presenting themselves effectively as an alien personality. Like, you're alienating yourself. I mean, why?
I mean, it's the definition of alienation.
That's what you're doing. You're
alienating
yourself. You're alienating us from you. You're dividing us, essentially. You're creating this imaginary division, and you're presenting yourself as an innate enemy. That's what you're doing. Identifying yourself as the enemy.
People alienate.
So that you can be heard. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to step out.
Jesus Christ.
Take it.
People alienate themselves, I feel like, in so many different ways, especially when they're going through learning experiences. My experience with a young teenage woman who's trying to figure everything out is that that's kind of the go-to for a younger person, and I'm sure I did it, I'm sure you did it, is when you come in conflict with something that it might feel safer to just alienate yourself from other people. Maybe you know, like a turtle crawling back into its shell.
Yeah, it's
a safety thing. It's a coping mechanism. It's not an effective coping mechanism, but it is one for somebody who is just learning. You can't expect someone who, with the science says that your brain isn't fully developed until you're 26 years old or 27 or something like that. So you can't expect a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old to have it all figured out.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I don't believe that it is fully developed at that time. I think it can keep on developing.
It makes perfect sense.
Long as you
Absolutely.
So long as you don't allow for yourself to be convinced that you're hardwired and locked into a certain understanding.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's
That's
locked
a trap.
into anything.
That's a fucking trap.
If the whole movement of itself, in and of itself, the trans movement should teach anybody anything, is that there is always going to be transformation, no matter what the fuck kind of transformation it is. It doesn't ever stop. You can transform at any time into anything with your own learning experiences and your own intuition and your own mind and your own needs and wants.
What you just said, though, speaks to the issue, which, if anybody doesn't know, you can check into the environmental crisis series we've been doing, Deeper Than You Think, with the Greta Thunberg, where we spoke directly to this, that it seems to be an escapist mentality, kind of removal mechanism, where these people are removing themselves from their lives by identifying as all of these layers, these false layers they put up in front of them.
Well, it might not be false at that moment.
In some abstract sense, I mean, they're imaginary. They are
but
made up.
It might be a little detached.
They're fictional.
But that doesn't mean that the emotions at play are false, or that the experiences are false. I don't like that. I don't think that word works. I don't think the word false works.
You don't like it because it comes across as being derogatory or offensive, but it's true.
No, because I'm sorry. If you told me that if I, had some kind of feeling about something, not even to do with any of this crap, that my feelings were false, I would probably slap you again. Because fuck you.
Like, are false. I'm saying.
But that's what you're saying to, kind of.
No, I'm saying the construct is false. You can feel that way, but I mean, what are you feeling? Do you feel genderless? If so, that's kind of removed, isn't it? That's you removing yourself from the situation because you're unable to handle it properly.
It's an alienation thing, but like teenagers do that all the time. It's a psychology thing, I mean, it's a safety mechanism, and when people have developed within situations that aren't exactly great, other things start popping up, like PTSD and terrifying experiences and fear response, and all of that has to do with everything. I mean, it's a very complex kind of thing, and no two people are the same. Dumbass.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Here's the thing, though.
I know who
ultimately,
you are.
it's kind of and I hate to have to keep being offended, but I mean, maybe you guys rubbed off on me.
Just choose not to.
But here's the thing: is
Change
it's kind of
your mind.
it's a little offensive on a personal level, even because you're presenting yourself as this weak, cowardly person who needs to remove themselves and alienate themselves and be offended by everything. Where in fact, I know for a fact that you are stronger than that. I've been through shit that you wouldn't fucking imagine.
Well,
And I handled it with grace for the most part. I know that you can do the same. I believe in you. I have faith that you can be that strong. And presenting yourself in such a...
the evidence is already there, like you said earlier, when we're talking about the activist spirit. I think that's a wonderful term, and I'm going to coin it fucking right now, that I think that right there is the evidence that somebody is passionate and they have courage and they care, and those are all fucking awesome qualities that come along naturally with this activist spirit. I love saying it. It's so great. And so even the people that are a little bit misguided or maybe misguided in the way that they behave still might have that really strong and beautiful activist spirit, which can be put to
amazing use for you to
and
just
maybe it will someday
stop being distracted. And here's the thing, it will someday when these people grow up and mature and come into their own.
Part of it
but what you're doing is essentially you're seeing this new social construct that's appealing to you, that is, you know, I'm going to be non-binary, I'm going to be pansexual, I'm going to be some other imaginary gender or sex.
So you can fit in with your friends.
And so that you can fit in with the you can fit in with the trendy alienated people. and basically you're going to accept this and you're going to hardwire yourself. And like I said in the argument that we've been having, you're going to experience cognitive dissonance when somebody presents a reality that doesn't agree with yours. But you're young yet. You haven't matured. You haven't come into your own, but you've accepted this reality that you've decided upon as being your absolute truth, where in fact you haven't really found your truth yet. And
but that's part of the game, man. That's part of the fucking game.
But it's disappointing that people
can
fall. This is a trap. This is
that me and my friends were gonna be witches or whatever. Like everybody goes through these phases. You know what I mean? Like it's stupid, right? That's dumb, and it absolutely is ridiculous.
See,
and we had no idea, but we were interested and curious.
That's an example,
awesome.
that served the purpose of, that was a part of your, you know, spiritual path that led you to being who you are, which essentially you kind of are a witch. But, you know, in reality, you're a practitioner of magical arts for the most part.
I would use the term Wicca. But
well, Wiccan's like a religion, I think.
Same thing, whatever. Witch, Wiccan, they're interchangeable.
You're an alchemist. She is an alchemist. And
I don't know.
You know, identifying in this way with the gender-oriented communities, I suppose that could serve a purpose later on. It serves the purpose of fueling that activist spirit. However, you're fighting for, and I'm going to use it, I don't care if it's offending you, you're fighting for a false cause. This cause serves only to damage us all. It serves no other purpose. You are not achieving any freedoms. You are fighting to remove the freedoms you've already been given.
Is that intentional?
I don't think so. I think it's indeliberate accident. I think that it's a mistake that you're making.
I don't think it's intentional. I don't think anybody is trying to do any kind of harm. I'm sure there are people.
There are people who know damn well that this is harm. Like that guy who identifies as a 6-year-old girl. Bullshit.
That one is just crazy.
Because, I mean...
Is he going to be 7 next year?
Yeah.
Or does it just stay 6 forever?
We're allowing for this person to do that. We're going to check in with Rose of Dawn, see what she has to say here on this matter. We did just see a video by her.
Yeah,
what was that video we were watching?
It? We'll go to her page. It was, it wasn't about the guy that's a 6-year-old girl. It was, Oh, this something about this
Trisha
chick.
made it too.
I don't know who
Get the
this
picture.
is.
It does not matter what kind of effort that you put in. You are that gender. That is what is.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to show you the beginning of this one, just the opening of this video
I'm gonna have a
speaks
go at making a
volumes.
timely video for once rather than waiting a week later for my damn upload schedule. So if there's one
if she
thing
doesn't
that
strike
current
us,
year
yeah.
has taught
I
us
don't
is
think
that
she is.
anyone can identify as any gender whatever they want. It's not their role to make themselves appear in the way that they want to be addressed. Rather, it is for society to learn to address people in a very particular way. This has been a core tenet of the trans movement for the last couple of years, when we're moving away from how important it is to pass, how important it is to actually look as the gender that you identify with. And every gender, regardless of how extreme or bizarre it sounds, is valid. The only thing you need to be trans is to say that you are trans. This is how you get a wonderful world where someone like this is considered a woman. And this. And this. And this. And this. And this. You get the picture. It does not matter what kind of effort that you put in. You are that gender. That is what is being drilled into us.
That's what's being drilled into us. That's what's being conditioned into us. Is that we no longer have any respect.
Or, as the way she puts it, there is no effort
Putting any effort, and that's just speaking to Blaire White was busting ass on that child predator dude.
Yeah, the guy that says he's a 6-year-old girl.
No. This was another one. She's got two of them.
Oh, great.
This was
great.
Jessica Yaniv, where all he, she. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. It's a he. This person is not transgender. This person is a pervert, a child predator who wants an excuse to go into women's bathrooms, if you take pictures of little girls, and B, to launch lawsuits at people who don't want to fucking wax his balls to get attention and to get money. That's it. And this person's going to claim to identify as trans, and all they have to do is sign a piece of paper that says, I'm a female now. And no effort required. Nothing you need to put into it. You don't even need to look the part. Like, these things matter, okay? The actual presented reality is what is real. It matters. You can't just throw that away and say that all that matters.
You are what you are. You're not are.
Yeah, you are what you are.
Say, or you aren't what you feel.
You can't just be like, I identify with my semantics. Well, here.
Walk the walk. Walk the walk. If you're going to talk the talk, I think is your point. To break it down in a very simple manner.
Just because the opening of our video will be something that hasn't happened yet for you, but for us. But as regards the opening of our video, I can say that I, as the unofficial illegal guardian of a identify spoon, as a spoon-gendered young lady, I don't even buy it. And then again, I'm the illegal guardian of this spoon-gendered young lady. So, I mean, she identifies as spoon. Am I to respect that?
Oh, and also a ninja.
And a ninja, as a smushy ninja. So, I mean, this
cute.
is you're. It's a pretense. It's this guise of having respect, but you don't have any respect. You have no respect for anything that we've built. You're going to go ahead on this debate, in this argument on the comments section. But by the way, you're blowing up Blaire White's comments section. If you want to argue with me, do it on our channel. Okay, we're happy to have you. Troll away. But you're going to tell me that I have no respect. I have respect for you as a person, as a human being. I don't care whether you're male or female, or whether you've transitioned from one to the other. What I do care is if you are psychologically available, and you're not. You're removed from the reality, and you're living in a pretend world.
Even that, there's nothing that says that anybody should care about anything about you. I don't know. Like, does that sound weird? Like, I feel like it's a mean kind of thing to say. Like, again, I don't care what you do or who you fuck or what you wear, or even if your psyche is healthy, like you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I
You
never
don't have
asked.
to. You're not obligated to.
I never
I do.
asked.
I care.
So why is it automatically or implied that everyone really cares, and so you have to clear it up?
See, that's what I'm saying. I personally care as an operative of the initiative and as a human being. I care if you are spreading a psychological illness.
I guess that makes sense. I don't know.
You should too, because you have that activist spirit. There's a reason for that. You have a real cause to be fighting for here, uniting humanity, clearing up discrepancies. What you are effectively doing is creating more problems, worsening the problem for reasons that are non-existent. Please comment and tell me what your reason is for inventing a gender and fighting anyone who disagrees with it.
In no way do I think that it's a simple subject or a simple matter. I feel like there's a lot of complexities. There's a lot of different spinning.
And perhaps I have a stance that may
on.
not be perfectly correct, and I'm very passionate about it, and I apologize if I'm offending anybody.
You don't have to apologize for anything.
I'm sorry,
I feel
but
like
I'm not gonna.
I feel like people should stop fucking doing that. You know what I mean? Like, why apologize just because you have a certain feeling? You may have a completely different feeling about this subject 5 years from now. There's still no reason to apologize.
I am sincerely apologetic and sorry if I'm hurting anybody's feelings. I don't want to do that.
No,
but I don't want
that
to
is
have
not
to
what
do
we
that.
set out to do ever.
I don't want to have to do that, but it becomes a necessity when people are.
That's another thing too, is that intention fucking matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you throw that out the window and tell everybody that it doesn't matter what your intentions are, I'm a victim of you anyways, you have to be punished and canceled. Like, that's a weird thing to me too, because when I don't know, man, I think intentions matter. I think intentions make everything. I think intentions have such a huge pull on your, the things that you gather in your lifetime and the lessons that you learn and the things you think about and the synchronicity of your journey and things that you come across, and everything. Intention is such a big part of that, at the core of everything that happens. So why would that in and of itself just be completely flushed down the toilet? Why doesn't intentions matter?
Yeah.
Again, I never intended to hurt anyone's feelings. Does that not make a difference in the complex situation
No,
that
because
is this whole issue?
here's the thing.